One of the two Western women accused of trying to bring cocaine out of Peru is caught on camera apparently carrying some of it in the street.
What's your name?
The pair have been in police custody for 2 weeks, since being arrested in the airport at Lima as they tried to leave the country.
I was forced to take these bags in my luggage.
They told the police they did not realise the bags contained cocaine. Their lawyer has tried to suggest they were being used as drug mules, people who are duped into carrying illegal drugs and risking long prison sentences, while the supplier risks nothing. Nearly 250 foreigners were arrested in similar circumstances at the Jorge Chávez International Airport last year. This high number of arrests has coincided with Peru's recent emergence as the world's largest producer of cocaine. One academic says there is no single reason why Peru has attained this dubious drug distinction.
Geography, race, corruption, all these things have something to do with it. But in Peru, virtually nobody studies coca, and government policies in Peru towards coca swing wildly.
The vast majority of the revenue Peruvian cocaine production generates never gets into the public purse. Drug gangs cultivate the coca plant on more than 150,000 acres of land across the country. The product is then transformed into around 325 tons of processed cocaine every year. The UN estimates that translates into annual street sales of more than $20 billion worldwide. Within Peru itself, some people complain that the government cracks down on the wrong targets. They say the authorities go for individual coca cultivators, and they do not confront the cartels who control cocaine production. But that will be of little comfort for the European women who now face a long legal process to prove their innocence.
India's facing the heat like never before. The rupee touched $1 on Monday, creating more panic for the economy. The Indian Central Bank took a series of steps last week to prop up the rupee, including curbs on companies and individuals buying dollars to invest abroad. It's been the worst performing currency in Asia, depreciating more than 10% since May. But this had an adverse impact on the Indian stock markets, which on Friday had one of the worst falls in 4 years. Concerns on India's widening current account deficit and signals from the US Federal Reserve that it may start rolling back its huge stimulus package are hurting investor confidence. The Indian government has desperately been trying to attract inflows of foreign money by easing investment rules across a number of sectors including retail, aviation and telecom. But that hasn't helped as international firms continue due to India's political instability and lack of clarity on the policy front. This comes at a time when the Indian economy has slowed down to its lowest growth rate in a decade. Industrial production has slumped and consumer demand has also weakened considerably. Yet, it has made foreign goods more expensive, especially oil and gold, adding to the already large current account deficit. Economists say Asia's third largest economy shows few signs that a turnaround could...
Armed and motivated to protect their community. These women are the newest recruits in a vigilante movement that has arms to protect communities from drug cartels. They'll effectively be the police in a small town in Guerrero, one of Mexico's most dangerous states. In recent months, vigilante groups have sprung up across Mexico. The leaders say it's the only option with the government unwilling and unable to protect them. Aren't enough men now to patrol this gang-threatened town. Recruit Celsa Tellez has lost 3 relatives already. Fed up, she decided she had one option left.
We were afraid to go out in the street, send our children to school. The kids were at school when they called us to say there was a shootout. We went running to the school, but we wanted to fly. The truth is, we don't want that for our children. That's why we're here now.
Celsa and the more than 100 other women join a movement of thousands of vigilantes who patrol their communities. Once more famous for sparkling beaches, the state of Guerrero is now home to violent drug gangs fighting for territory and smuggling routes. The vigilante movement is particularly strong in Guerrero and neighboring Michoacán, where drug gangs often operate with impunity. In Michoacán, authorities arrested and disarmed groups of vigilantes who now say they're defenseless. They're threatening to block the state's major roads if their fellow members aren't released. The recruitment of women isn't shocking to those who follow the movement.
The security situation in Guerrero and Michoacán has reached such a point that the only option left for them is to take up arms, defend themselves, and create attention in the media.
This, they say, is their last resort. Roadblocks in the Arauca department. They want the government to hear their complaints.
We are farmers and have lots of needs and problems, and with a government that does not invest in us. We are one of the richest departments in the country, and look at us, we live in poverty. We need the government to help us with education, new roads, subsidies.
All around the country, various sectors of Colombian economy went on a national strike, the first one in years. Demands varied from one place to another. Arauca is located on the border with Venezuela. Left-wing rebel groups like the FARC and the National Liberation Army have a strong presence here. The government accuses strikers of supporting guerrillas. But people like Anderson Rodriguez says that's the only way the government has to undermine the protests.
If the government believes that being a guerrilla is to demand our rights, to demand what we need, then they are right. We are guerrillas, but our only weapons are our brains.
The government has deployed thousands of security forces all around the country, as has warned strikers against blocking the roads, threatening them with jail time and tough fines. But truck drivers like Jaime Patiño waited on the road and was not allowed to cross here.
Nobody is coming to solve anything. This country has no government, and the government we have is small. I've been waiting here all day, and they're not opening up the road.
People here are convinced that this is their chance to demand change. That's why they say they will stay on the roads until the government answers their demands.
This is Sun Valley, Idaho, usually known as a playground for the wealthy and the famous, now the site of the biggest wildfire in the United States. Flames driving across the dried mountains, pushed by strong winds, trees almost like fireworks when they catch, spreading burning embers that only throw the fire further. Almost 1,200 firefighters doing the back-breaking work of trying to dig trenches, a way to stop the fire on the ground. And from the air, a so far mostly fruitless attempt to put the fire out that has already burned more than 400 kilometers.
Three things affect how a wildfire burns: weather, the topography, and the fuels. So in this case, all the factors are against us.
More than 2,000 people have been evacuated here. Thousands more have been told, get ready to run.
It's scary to look out your window and see the flames coming down a hill. This is craziness. I mean, our life is in our vehicles right now.
This has become a yearly event for many living in the West. Right now, 11 states are fighting to put out 35 different fires. And experts warn global warming and increased development will continue to make wildfires more frequent, dangerous, and costly.
Looks like a bomb went off over there. Trees are down and gone.
A changed, charred landscape will be left behind once the fires are finally put out. A change in the scenery for some, but for others, a reminder of the day they lost everything they own.
The latest security and safety systems equipment available today. Tehran is hosting the 5th expert exhibition of security and safety systems equipment. 40 domestic companies displayed a wide range of products such as wireless security camera systems, new high-performance digital wireless security camera transmission systems, and video surveillance systems with closed-circuit television cameras known as CCTV. The general manager of the expo explained about the advancements of Iranian engineers in this field.
These are the latest digital safety products available in today's market seen at this expo. All the software and engineering for these products, known as access control and data, are built domestically.
Many Irani companies are also working with other countries such as Germany, Sweden, Japan, and Canada to feed off of each other's innovations and enhance in security and safety technology. One Irani company for the past 6 years has been working on security-gated digital glass doors.
This product is a controlled digital gated door. The software and hardware for this technology is manufactured domestically.
This expo showcases the latest in intelligent security systems that provide safety for homes and businesses. The managing director of this expo had this to say.
The top companies producing security and safety products in Iran are all present here today. These companies produce the most advanced security systems for homes and especially for governmental buildings.
The 5th exhibition of security and safety systems equipment will continue until August 22nd in the capital.
The project is called 40 Days of Dating.
Actually, it's just a documentation of our 40 days of dating, or dating.
Tim is a bit commitment phobic, likes to date many girls at once, and I fall a little bit too quickly for guys, sometimes.
So there's 6 rules that we came up with. Seeing each other every day, going on a weekend trip together, seeing couples therapists once a week. We weren't allowed to see or date or have sex with anyone else.
The idea was basically just us recording what happened and what we were feeling day to day.
There's 8 questions every day that we had to fill out. Did you see each other today? How do you feel about this relationship? Did you learn anything new about Jessica or Timothy?
After the experiment was over, we kind of put everything together and then posted it on this blog where you could see side by side what each of us were thinking for that day. What's really fascinating is seeing how we interpret the same events really differently.
She wrote that I wanted to go camping upstate New York, but I don't camp.
Like when he was texting me, he thought he was flirting with me, and I thought he was actually getting jealous.
She couldn't believe I don't like avocados, But it's not that I don't like avocados. It's that it really it upsets my stomach.
Text messaging and AIM and emails versus a lot of face-to-face communication. I think a lot of things get lost in translation.
Jessica and I were both byproducts of our generation. Everything is so accessible. We can go on OkCupid, you can go on Match.com, and you can shop for your mate. It's a weird thing to do, and because of all these options, everyone thinks they can do better.
By far the most fun for me was the hand-holding day. So for 8 hours, no matter what, we couldn't let go. It was actually, you get used to it pretty quickly, and it was fun.
Doing something dangerous.
I'm gonna turn the water on for you. No. See, it helps, right? The viewer could kind of experience it in a way, like we did. Post it day by day.
A lot of people actually think it's live, and so people are, rooting for us, or they're against us, or we're team Jesse, or we're team Tim, and it's like really, there are more people more team Jesse.
I've gotten tons of messages from people saying it's inspired them to do the same.
I think it's also just part of who we are as people, like men and women right there in a nutshell, Men are always wondering or curious or they like to just flirt with temptation, but then, it gives them some validation or something, And obviously that's a blanket statement. I can't speak for every male in this whole world, but...
Clean needles to save lives. With the Greek state owing billions in unpaid healthcare bills, only charities now have the resources to help many drug users, in this case trying to prevent them from sharing needles, which can be fatal.
They use it together with another people. So if the other people is sick, the big risk is to catch a disease like AIDS.
It's first thing in the morning. We're in central Athens, and here is one of the saddest signs of the worsening health funding emergency. The problem in a nutshell is that hospitals and other clinics haven't paid their bills, so a lot of important drugs, particularly for cancer patients, are not available in the hospitals. People have to come here for them, so they get a ticket, they get a number, they have to wait because drugs are in such short supply.
The doctor sends you to the hospital, they send you to the pharmacy, but they don't have your medication, so they send you to this place. But the law's changed, so you have to fill in another form, wait 10 days and go to a different building.
This man nearly lost his leg because his diabetes went untreated before he got help at this clinic run by volunteers.
I have no insurance, so couldn't possibly afford treatment at a state hospital. When I came here, I found my leg was in danger of being amputated if it wasn't treated.
The state healthcare provider is set to be over €3.5 billion, and nobody seems to know how that financial hole can be healed. Nigel Cassidy, BBC News.